Salam. Good morning, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Right. And I do believe we have the time to get into the Bible today, so that's going to be great. Before we do, as always, we're going to look at a daily inspiration from the Quran. And the purpose of this, of course, is to hold on to it ever so slightly during the day, reflect on it during the day, or whenever you see this, use that to drive you and to just reflect on whatever the message may be. So that is the purpose of our daily Quran readings, and sometimes they do coincide with what we talk about in the Bible as well. So that's always a nice thing. We'll be able to do the two in conjunction today. We have the time. Can you hear that? Hello. What do you need? Okay. Is that what you want? So, of course, that was the big cat, and we're trying to get him out of his nocturnal phase because he's now, as the weather's getting warmer, he's getting into the phase of sleeping all day and then trying to go out or wanting to go outside at night when it's a little bit cooler out. And so now talked to him after a good talking to, he's trying to adjust back to wanting to go outside during the day just a little bit. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and begin with our daily inspiration, our daily message. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All right. This one is a little bit of a longer one, but that means more that we get to reflect on, right? All the more we get to reflect. But this is from Surah 16, line 81. And it reads, "It is Allah who made out of the things. He created some things to give you shade. Of the hills He made some for your shelter. He made you garments to protect you from heat, and coats of mail to protect you from your mutual violence. Thus does He complete His favors on you, that ye may bow to His will in Islam." Okay. It's funny, I say period, and I know that's a trendy thing to say right now, like period, to make a point. But when I do transcribe some of these things, especially from the Bible, with the microphone, I have to say the punctuation, so sometimes it's a little bit of a force of habit. I did not mean to do that, obviously, but it's period, right? This makes sense. I'll be quick with this if I can avoid the typos. The best part and the most favorite part is when we get to talk about it, right? And then you can conjure up your own inspiration from this as well as I write this out, and we can compare where our ideas land together. I'm already getting a few good points here as I write it out. If you do end up studying the Quran or the Bible, to write something out, to read it is one thing, right? But to write it out, it really does form full and complete thoughts, because you're really taking your time with each word, right? And that's what we like to do too. We like to take certain words and analyze them. If we're not sure what they mean, we look them up and see if we can gather a greater understanding. Amen. And then the conquest is remembering everything that I'm mentioning as I'm typing, especially on one of these longer lines. But we already are done. So let's go ahead and take another look. It is Allah who made out of the things He created some things to give you shade. Of the hills He made some for your shelter. He made you garments to protect you from heat and coats of mail to protect you from your mutual violence. Okay, so just taking a look at that, we have two categories essentially of things that He created, but it really does fall under the large umbrella category of things He created, which is everything, right? We have the things that are more natural occurrences like hills and mountaintops. Those things are very clear creation from Allah, right? The formation of the earth and the natural occurrences that happen in the earth, very clear that it's from Allah, right? Plants, trees, mountains, hills, rivers, that sort of thing. But then it also says, He also made your garments to protect you from heat and coats of mail to protect you from your mutual violence. So even the things constructed or created with human hands, right? That is also from Allah, right? He also either allowed that to happen, or who knows, maybe He is working within our hands. Maybe He is working sometimes on occasion in human form, right? Creating these very necessity type things that we do need. So yes, even things fashioned, right? Fashioned with human hands. Allah is the fashioner. He is the fashioner. So He did, yes, create everything that the humans would have claimed to create or invent. That is Him. He is the fashioner. So it's kind of the two categories, right? To really drive the point home that He is the creator, He is the overseer of all, right? Of all things, even man-made things. So, don't stray away, right? I know a lot of people like to do the natural living, and that's very, very great. But even the synthetic things, if you will, right? The man-made things are also God's creation. We can attribute that to Allah. All right, I think that point is clear here. Something here, too, that it stuck out to me, right? He coats of mail to protect you from mutual violence. So what is coats of mail, right? Like chainmail. Armor, right? So, and it says to protect you from mutual violence. So yes, Allah has allowed violence, right? He may have even inflicted violence at certain times when we think about Exodus and the violence upon the Egyptians in the form of plagues. So with war, He is referring to, even though He permits it, even though He might say, yes, go ahead, do this, right? That's fine. It's okay by me, which is, a little bit contrary to how we see the all-loving God, right? It's how we see Allah. But at the end of the day, the violence is mutual, right? It stems from within us. It stems from within the human mind. But it is also permitted from Allah, therefore being of Allah as well. So very, very interesting. And then it says, thus does He complete His favors on you, that ye may bow to His will in Islam. So it says it here in parentheses, just like the mutual violence part, right? In Islam. That is awesome. That is awesome to hear, because Islam is very much about self-discipline, about submission to God, right? That is really, when we bring up the Quran and when we bring up even the Bible, the Lord and Allah together, right, being the same, what they really are asking for is submission, right? Submission and all attention and all praise to Him alone, right? We talk a lot about idolatry and how that's a big issue, especially in the Old Testament. And we talk about it a lot in the Quran, right? So all the attention, all the praise, all the gratitude go towards Allah, no matter the circumstance. Yes, we do have our own free will. Yes, we do have our own power. But who instills that power, right? So it makes no sense other than to bow to his will in Islam, right? Submit to him, right? Take that time to acknowledge and recognize his favors on you, how he's always providing, right? And always supplying you with either the inspiration, the drive, the satisfaction. He's always supplying you with these things, or the things that result in those feelings and those positive emotions. So important, right? Bow to his will in Islam. And what does Islam instruct is the very important notion of actually prostrating yourself, bowing down and praying, right? We start up and then we go further, bow the head, go further, bow, and then all the way until you get to your knees and put your forehead on the ground. It's a very relaxing moment. It's a very, very relaxing moment, and it instills this feeling of submission, right, and honor and praise, because when you see God, right, in all his glory and his power face to face, it really invokes that feeling of falling to the ground, right? Anybody who's had a near-death experience or something of that sort would explain that if they did see God, right, if that was something that was granted to them, it's just an immediate prostration. You fall to the ground, you're on your face, just because the glory and the power is so mighty and so intense. So you just fall to your face. So that's what we try to demonstrate in prayer. So that's why it says bow to his will. Yes, it's figurative, but it's also to be taken very, very literally, in the sense that we do bow and prostrate ourselves on the ground, palms, forehead, knees, back of the toes on the ground, right? Very, very important. So that's what came to me during that little section there, and just thinking about the prayer and how important that it's such a keynote of Islam, right? That bowing on the ground and prostrating, very, very important. So that is that, you guys. Let's see if I can think of the title here, and we'll go ahead and get into our next part of 2 Samuel. I already forget, where we left off. And mind you, I did start and I tried to come on live, but I did get interrupted, so we're just going to go ahead and redo. I deleted it, so we're going to redo that. Okay. Let's see. Just use this word since I used it before. Okay, you guys. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you back in just a moment. See you soon.